President Trump, literally moments ago with Maria, saying he will not participate in a virtual second debate. Erin Perrine with us, Trump 2020 Director of Press Communications. Erin, I understand he's not going to do the virtual debate. Is he going to hold a rally instead?
Yes, the campaign has put out a statement saying that the president does intend to do a rally instead of doing a virtual debate. Listen, the Presidential Debate Commission is clearly biased. It's full of never-Trumpers and it's full of swamp creatures. And yet again, in order to try to distract from Kamala Harris's abysmal performance last night and the vice president's absolute dominance on that debate stage, they are trying to put the finger on the scale for Joe Biden. And listen, the president's not interested in doing a virtual debate. He'd rather speak to the American people directly without the super biased debate commission getting in the way.
Does this blow up the second debate? That's it? You're not going to do it? Not going to have it?
As of right now, the president has been very clear he is not interested in doing a virtual debate, and instead he will hold a rally.
Okay. Now, I want to refer to the president's condition. I use that word advisedly. I think he looked good and vital in the video that you released yesterday about Regeneron. And this morning, on the phone with Maria, he had loads and loads of energy. I mean, he was on his game. But I think voters would like to see him. They want to make their own judgment as to how well he is recovering. Do you have any plans to put him in front of a live camera today?
I certainly don't have any news to break for you on that, Stuart, but what I can tell you is that this is the most accessible president. He talks to the American people multiple times every day in a bunch of different ways. And what that looks like for the president, I'll leave that up to him on how he does. But you're right. And as Doc Connolly said, he's back. We are excited to see the president doing so well out there talking to the American people. And we know that anytime he stands up and talks directly to the American people, the media absolutely loses their mind. So when the president does so, we know it'll make big news. But we also know the campaign's out there with Operation MAGA. The vice president will be out there today in Arizona and Nevada. Laura Trump is in Pennsylvania. Eric Trump's in North Carolina. Don Jr.'s in Florida. We are out there carrying the MAGA mantle for the president while he recovers.
All right. How are you going to deal with the latest Fox News poll? Because it shows that Biden's lead is growing over the president. Look at it there. That's a 10-point lead as of right now. I've asked the campaign many times, what are you going to do about these polls? And I always get the same response. Well, our internal polls show a different picture. Tell me, how are you going to deal with these polls, which are moving against you 4 weeks to the election?
Well, if polling was any actual indicator of what was happening, you'd have President Hillary Clinton and not President Donald Trump. But we know polling is notoriously wrong. And listen, the media covers the president 95% with negative coverage. So it's our job with the president, with the vice president, with the army for Trump to stand up and get the facts out there. Listen, the economy is one of the top issues, and we know nobody has built a hotter economy than President Trump. You heard last night that Kamala Harris said on day one they would get rid of the Trump tax cuts. That means taxes will be raised for middle-class families. That means goodbye opportunity zones, goodbye doubling of the child tax credit, and it means that we will raise our business tax rate higher than communist China. That's economic devastation.
Okay, in the campaign battleground states, do your internal polls show the race narrowing or getting more in Joe Biden's favor?
Our internal polling is saying what we've known it's said the whole time, which is that we are either tied or ahead in our battleground polls. We know that this is going to be a tight race. We've always understood that. And that's why we have a grassroots army that's out there. It's Joe Biden who's worried about the get out the vote effort. That's why all of a sudden the science must have changed for him, because they're out knocking doors when we have been making over 100 million voter contacts so far this cycle, 2 million doors last week to get out the vote for President Trump. We are turning on that grassroots army for Trump, and they will make a huge difference when it comes to the results on Election Day.
All right, Erin, I'm sure you're busy the day after the vice presidential debate, but thanks for taking time to be with us today. Erin Perrine, we appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Stuart.